Hello and welcome to the DXDAO BizDev Weekly Call for Monday, 20th of September 2021. So before we begin with the agenda, just to let you know that sort of like the DXbiz working group is working on like more formalization and structuring of this DXDAO BizDev call. It is looking like, the first 30 minutes or so will be dedicated to an external presentation by someone who wants to collaborate, or organization, or DAO, or whatever, and then we'll probably do like sort of updates from the working group, and kind of like the opportunities that we have and updating about them, and then another like sort of quarter of the call will be for like future and potential discussions. So that's kind of what's formulating around that. So yeah, that's that, and I'll just start with the agenda. So on the agenda we have the guys from Eastroids presenting. We can send like more info about that in the chat. We'll have some discussions about Swapper. On DX events, we have a couple of people this week at Mainnet in New York City. We have ETH Lisbon coming up with the DX retreat coming before, and we have a lot of things planned for the Lisbon Blockchain Week, including a DXDAO party, a sponsorship for the Daoist, and other stuff in the works, as well as our retreat that's happening before that. And I don't know if people saw, but Melanie posted sort of like a temperature check. So please, fill that out before the end of the week. We also have ETH Online that's happening. Well, it actually has started already. And then Sky will talk about that. And then, under DX Ventures opportunities, we have the HATS proposal that has passed. I see that Nathan is talking about ETH. So is it ETH or ETH?
Yeah, the question is it ETH or ETH? Yeah.
ETH.
Lots of people talking about that. It seems like in Europe it's ETH, and in the US it's ETH.
I mean, for me, you could probably make an exception and call the ticker ETH, but as the currency itself comes from Ethereum, it's probably ETH. So yeah, no new member introductions today.
It seems like I'm very laggy. We have so we have Naaman from Eastroids here. Do you want to start maybe?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. Thank you for letting me start. So I'm gonna begin maybe by just posting the link for Eastroids in the chat. It's a good start. So well, everyone are bored by me, they can check it out. One second. And the second thing that I have to do is to thank Elon actually for encouraging me to come and talk here, because I felt a bit uncomfortable, to be honest. I was in DXDAO BizTalks several times in the end of previous years, representing a project called Almonit and Alpress. And one of those projects, Alpress, I had to quit at some point, and someone else took the connection with DXDAO, I think Muhammad, and I'm not involved since then. And the other one, Almonit, just got discontinued. And since I worked very hard for a few months to promote those projects, when actually I felt a bit uncomfortable of going to people that spoke about Almonit and then speak about the new thing that I do. But along the last few months, I mean, Elon is great, and I was in contact with him the whole time, and he's so supportive, and he seems to like what we do, and he really encouraged me to come here and present it. So here I am, and thanking you to let me do that. And Eastroids began like in the beginning of April. So right when actually Almonit kind of stopped. And I would say that from my point of view, I would say that from my point of view, Asteroids is what I wanted Almonit to be, but Almonit kind of grew up as an organic project. Like we started to do things and became a project, and there was very informal and no guideline, maybe no direction. And Asteroids I do with a co-founder who is a friend of mine, and we have like a clear vision from the beginning, which is why at least I am super happy with how it went in the last few months. It's really what I wanted to do in the whole time that I was working on Almonit. The Asteroids, so there's a difference between what Asteroids is now and what it wants to be. And maybe I should start to say what we want to be, because then you understand why we do what we do now. And what we want to be is we want to be the main organization, the centralized organization that build, promotes, develops the decentralized web. And this is because we have a vision which I've been developing, I mean, with other people, with the community in the last 2 years, which is that we want kind of a democratic internet, like a new internet. Sometimes among ourselves, we don't call it the decentralized internet, we call it the democratic internet or the new internet, because for us, decentralization is a tool to achieve something. We want to have an internet where the people are not users of platforms, but people are members of platforms. Where the difference is that if you're a user, you come, you use whatever the platform gives you, you own nothing, you get nothing. If you're a member, you get a vote, you get like a way to influence things, you get like, you know, a vote, an equal vote. You get also maybe to buy things, to own things. In the way that we see the internet, it should be that those platforms, or even the internet itself, should be like a state where members are equivalent to citizens that have a way to vote and influence and do things in the same way that people can buy apartments in a state or property or land. You could buy things that you actually own in this democratic internet. And that's the vision of Asteroids, at least of the internet that we want to build. But truth to be told, we are light. I mean, we are years behind, because there is no, like, there's still no infrastructure for that. There is not enough tools. I mean, the tools are not developed enough. There is not the technological theory has to be more developed, and also the philosophical theory that stands behind those things should be developed, because I know that I stand here and I say stuff about democratic internet and I'm used for people understanding me, but not understanding me. Lots of details have to be filled and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's where Asteroids wants to be, like the organization that develops those things, that build the frameworks where others can build their own platforms, that, you know, collect funds and give it to people to bodies, to entities who do the infrastructure, who do the tools. But that's not where we are now, because we started 5 months ago. Where we are now is that we are trying to tackle 2 things. One thing that we try to tackle is what I think is currently the biggest problem in the decentralized web, which is accessibility. It's really difficult to access decentralized websites. So far, the only way to do that was some browser extension. I wrote one of them. I'm using it, but for me it works super well because I wrote it, so I know how it works. I know that for others it's not that great if I don't know how the tricks. There was a ETH link, which is very buggy. Brave supports it, but they are based on ETH link, so it's very buggy. Yeah, I mean, it's just accessibility for decentralized website is bad, and this is only when we speak about ENS and IPFS website. If you go to unstable domains based websites, it's even worse. And if you go to handshake based website, it's practically non-existing. So there are no browser extensions, and it's very difficult to access handshake based websites. And the other thing is, if you do access the website already, you don't really know what to look for. So there is no way to search, to browse, to see what is happening and what is the new thing. Almonit was kind of doing that because we had a search engine, but this search engine, I mean, I was the one operating the search engine, and I did it manually and was updating like once in a week, and mostly behind things because we didn't have the time to build good tools and also to make a decentralized website with updates all the time. Like we had no idea how to do that. And basically you had no way to go to Almonit and see what's new. And with Asteroids, we really tried to change it. So we did a few things for the accessibility problem with Asteroids. One of them is we have like really good infrastructure in the background, which my co-founder, his name is Tom Leicht. He's not here today, unfortunately, because he's from Israel and today is a holiday. He wrote like really good backend infrastructure that crawls all the time, non-stop, the blockchain for new decentralized websites and for what is updated. And then he gets from it all the details, and we have like a Twitter bot in our account. That's how we started. That tells all the time all the new websites that we find. So if you really just want to see what's new in the decentralized web, follow us on Twitter, and you will see a few times a day like new websites. Some of them are really super cool. Then we built, in the beginning, we built like kind of a simple browsing tool, which turned like about 2 weeks ago into a search engine. With a browsing tool, you can go there and look for which websites exist with NFTs, and you can also just look for websites.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah. So how do you share screen here? It's 1 second. The share video, I guess. No.
There's a monitor with an arrow in it. It says stop sharing your screen at the bottom. It will pop up when you put your cursor at the bottom of the screen.
Sure. Yeah, this looks much better. So that's our search engine plus browsing tool. If you search, I'm searching for NFT because NFTs, they are looking for every kind of possible gimmick. And the last few weeks, there were a lot of NFTs, decentralized websites.
I can see. Oh, now I can see your screen. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. So you can search for stuff. You can still search for DAOs. And probably you got here DXDAO somewhere. You can also browse websites. So you can come here, and then if you want to see all the new websites, then this is the new ones by the order that they were made. You can see the ones which are not new but recently updated, and it's important for us because I think that we are the only decentralized websites which is actually updated like a few times a day, but otherwise it's super difficult, and I'll speak about it in a second. So you can see them. You can see the popular ones, and or if you want, you can just like see all the decentralized website, and then this list will go forever because right now. There are, I think, about 2,000 decentralized websites, which is a big amount because when I started with Almonit, there were like 13. So things develop. The nice thing about this search engine and browsing tool, and this is why it was so difficult for us to do, is that it's ENS and IPNS, and it's updated a few times a day. I think that right now every 4 or 6 hours. We'll do it more often the moment that you have more websites. And when we started to do it with ENS and IPNS back in May, it basically didn't work. So our website was so unusable that even I didn't use it because half of the time that you reached it, it didn't load, or it stopped loading in the middle, or it gave you an old version. And we did a lot of work, with discussions with our IPFS people, and also just with lots of research and development to get it into a stage with this website. It's just ENS and IPFS. It's updated a few times a day. You can basically update like every minute. And nevertheless, I think that you saw how smoothly it loads. So this was one way for us to approach the accessibility problem, to let people see what happens. The other way started this D website of the week competition. This is the winner of the last competition. Like once a week, we tweet all the new websites from the last week, and then right now, the way that we do it, we only do it since 3 weeks. I'm gonna stop sharing because I don't want to confuse you with too many visuals. We choose 4 which we think are the best from this week, and we have like a Twitter poll which is the best one. We got ENS to sponsor it, So they give like a nice $100, which is, it's a small reward for people to motivate them. And we are going to have another small sponsor joining this week. In the beginning, we had like first one was like 30 votes, and we were happy. And then second one was 40, and the last one we had 400. So it's really catching on. And the people who compete wrote us, and they also wrote us, some of them before. So I'm super happy about it. We actually want to extend it to get more sponsors, and also to make it that you will be able, like, to have a decentralized website, or just a website that you can vote with your ENS name and not a Twitter poll. But there are no tools to do that now, so development takes time. And also, the last thing that we made it more accessible is connected to the other thing that Asteroids is doing. We are trying to build a community of the decentralized web, because as far as we know, there is no one place. Like, at least we don't know where to advertise, and we didn't know where to look for people. But by starting to tweet every new website and tag the people, just we start to have people writing us. Then we opened the Discord. In the beginning, it was kind of a Discord which was secret, so we had 3 friends of mine. And then, like, after a week, without noticing, we found out that 20 people joined, which was cool. And now there are 17. There are lots of discussions. And one of the things that came out of those Discord is ETH Limo, which we didn't do. I don't take credit for it, but we have a close contact with the people who did it. And Asteroids for them was like the thing that we all the time try to see if it works properly. We promote it together. We want to build things with them together. And I think that this is one thing that we didn't do, but came out of the community that we created. Because, I mean, lots of things that a new internet needs, but definitely one of them is a community. Yeah, that's where we are at this moment. I also said where we want to be in a few years. The next few steps is to get bigger community, B, get connection with organizations like DXDAO or MetaCartel, which care about the decentralized internet. We already have a very close connection with ENS, but we need to extend it. We have some plans how to finance the project, and we plan kind of a pre-sale soon, and when it will happen, probably I will at least notify DXDAO and give you guys, if you're interested, a right to buy first. But in general, Asteroids wants to be, like, at least in my vision, not a project that the goal is to make the investor as rich as possible, but a project that really tries to build a better, more fair internet, which is where the main incentive is to benefit the users and make better tools that actually consider what users need, and not tools that consider what the company that makes them needs. There should be a way that the people who first build it and first buyers and first users, of course, they should be compensated for what they did. But and that's why we have a pre-sale, and we also need to make a living ourselves. But eventually, I would at least like to have like something. It's a very ideal thing, but I would like to have something which is not only commercial, but have a different incentives. Yeah, I think. I mean, I have a lot more to say, but I don't want to take the whole time of the whole meeting, so probably I'll stop here. Thank you very much for listening.
Does anyone have any questions, like around, I don't know, the model and like how could something like this work? I don't know if you want to expand on that, or if anyone else has any questions.
Perhaps, like, what would be drawing people to it? What would be the gamification factor that would make people go visit it and interact with it?
Right, that's a fantastic question, because that's exactly the problem that we are thinking about all the time, both when we build Asteroids and when we think what we want. Why should anybody use a different kind of internet? At least in the first stage. We have a few things in mind. One thing, which I think is the most obvious answer, is that it's not my favorite, but it's definitely the most obvious one, is that in the decentralized web, you can take a website and you can tokenize it. You can take a website and you can break it into parts. Maybe I can share my screen again, and maybe not. But basically, one thing that you can do is you can bring all the models that we have from blockchain of tokenizing thing and then selling tokens and, breaking up website into part and then selling each part as an NFT and letting people trade it and control it. You can bring it all here. So from the entrepreneur point of view or from the builder point of view, it gives you a way to monetize your website in a very early stage by basically tokenizing it or breaking it into part and having something which is tradable. So one thing that we hope that will happen is that the thing that now that in this place you can monetize a website super early, and because the way with blockchain was with tokens, you can really profit from it a lot. It will attract people who build cool websites. They will have more motivation to build it like in this technology instead of what they use right now. And when you have good platforms, you have people coming and using it, so sometimes it's a matter of hype. Once you have like a big mass, like some platform with a big amount of users, which we don't have right now, then what we hope it would begin, and it's all up to reality to see, and lots of things are going to change in the way. But what we hope it will begin is that people actually care about how the platform is being managed, and then they would want to become members, to influence the decision, to change things. Maybe they would also want to get some services from the platforms, like gateways or even Ethereum gateways that such a platform can manage and people can use. But everything here is up to check. So basically, I believe that you can attract entrepreneurs to develop such websites because it's easier for them to monetize once the tool exists. And if you have enough people using it, then the people would like to be members, because when people use a platform, often they want to influence what's happening there. I saw it in a previous project that I did already 3 years ago. It's called DXbiz, because it's a centralized exchange on top of Bitcoin. And we had and we have like a DAO, and we had people joining the DAO because they really cared about the choices of the project. But time will tell. I cannot really focus the future.
As a tip, I think you have a lot of opportunity in partnering with the decentralized infrastructure providers that help those websites come to help materialize them. And in a way, you are a tool that markets those websites. Mm-hmm. And you could also have this integrated into the metaverse.
Right.
Yeah, people visiting the metaverse, that there isn't a cool integration to help them find decentralized websites. And if what's it called, asteroids, if asteroids is easily available within the metaverse, then that would be an interesting solution.
Is there someone who or anybody here knows that we can contact about the metaverse? Because I'm not a big expert.
Yeah, there's a team developing a product which is a 2D metaverse called Atlantis World, and you could probably liaise with them. Sure. I would love to see your product inside their product.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
And also, providers like IPFS, CSky, they are serving those decentralized websites that you make easily searchable. Mm-hmm. So there is a mutually beneficial interest in them promoting your engine so that people can find those websites that they're providing the infrastructure to, business to business.
Right. Yeah. With some of them, we already tried to talk, and with others, we are in the process. But yeah. Thanks.
Okay, and I think we have, I think this is actually relevant for us. So Ross is asking.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, he's asking about this being super fast. So how do we plan to scale? And I think this could be relevant for like some of the things that we're doing, like with this similar infrastructure.
Right. This is a question that I shouldn't be the person replying, because so the lead developer is my partner. He's the super technical guy, and I am a mathematician. I'm good with algorithms and cryptography and all those things, but with the real scaling into databases, it's less my thing. But there shouldn't be a problem of breaking a database, like an index of a search engine, into many parts, and then having each part fetched once the search is being done. I mean, it's theoretically possible. There is obviously like a lot of technical steps and challenges to implement it, but it should be like doable. One thing that I saw that is doing, but I'm a bit suspicious if it's really pure IPFS, is that there is like a library Genesis version on IPFS. And I tried it, and it's super fast, and library Genesis have terabytes of data. I'm a bit skeptical about it, because I can't imagine that someone like so quickly jumped from the databases that I know, which are hundreds of megabytes on IPFS and work okay, into terabytes in such a smooth way without seeing anything in between. But who knows? Library Genesis have so many talented people. But that's the answer. It should scale well. I mean, there is nothing in IPFS that like doesn't allow that. Just requires lots of work. So right now we are not using the graph because we don't need it yet. Right now we are preparing our own index, because for an amount. So I said right now there are about, I think, between 1,000, 2,000, so more than 1,000, less than 2,000 websites. I don't know the exact amount right now. But you don't need such things. I'm not sure that we will go for the graph, because I think it means that the website will need to use some kind of service. So probably we will try to keep on creating our own index, just like put it in decentralized ways of IPFS, but maybe development will go in another ways. And right now, everything is controlled by us. So the IPNS keeper is controlled by us. The idea, like we have a few ideas how to make it, I don't want to say decentralized, I want to say democratic, because I think this is like the more important key here. But one obvious thing is just to give a DAO to control the name, and then the DAO will decide what is the IPNS keeper, and possibly the people who operate it would need to give some bond or something like this, or if they misuse it, there will be people in the DAO. Like we want probably a bit less flat structure than DXDAO, but something which is more hierarchical, that like there are elections and people get a job, and then you can execute things faster. Yeah, so that's the idea. The decentralization or democratic thing eventually would come from a DAO controlling the platform, and not from us. But we are far. I mean, it's going to be a few months until this happens, especially because I think that you guys know how difficult it is to have a layer 1 DAO, and there is no infrastructure at all for layer 2 decentralized websites yet.
Yeah, so I think there's some technical innovation here that, I don't know, maybe some of the tech team here, like Ross is leading like the DXVote initiative, and Lucy is sort of like, I guess, our all hands dev for several projects. So yeah, would love to, I don't know, maybe you guys can connect afterwards.
I should connect you, Ross, if you want. I can connect you to Tom, who is doing the technical thing. He did. I didn't know that you can do an IPNS website so fast. I know how he did it, but not in all details. And I can just connect you, and you can set up a meeting with him.
I see you using .limo. Do you know who's behind the DAO? We've been wondering whether it's safe for us to use it as an alternative.
Yeah, I mean, I know. So I said, so .limo raised out of the community, out of Asteroids community, but it's not by us. It's from different people. It started from people from a Penguin party. I don't know if you guys know that. I was not aware of that before we did Asteroids, and they contacted us. And basically they did like a DAO which is only a decentralized website, and they had problems with ETH link, and they contacted us, trying to solve it together. They asked if we want to build like a new gateway, but we were busy building Asteroid, so we couldn't do that. But eventually they did it on themselves with us as a model, as the main user. In which way do you mean if it's safe? So it's people that I know from the internet, and I speak to them every day for the last 2 months, and they seem to me reliable, but I don't know them in real life. And I there's a limit of how much you can vouch for someone. As far as I'm concerned, they seem reliable, and we use it more and more with time. We don't use it fully yet in our search engine because they are still in a pre-release stage, and they asked us to moderately use it because they are afraid of that their infrastructure won't support it.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. If there, we can need to. We have a couple of other topics to talk about, but I think we should usually the next step would be to open a Telegram group between DXDAO and Asteroids, and we can keep the communications happening there. We can have some updates. We can have some, off official call correspondence and stuff like that. So, guess we can do that.
This would be awesome. I'll be happy to. Sure. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Yeah, and if anyone has any more questions, we can take that to the Telegram group, and then once the sale is happening, I think I don't know if this could be relevant for DX Ventures or for the individual DXDAO members. So yeah, sounds cool. Yeah, so next on the agenda, we have. Oh, and yeah, thank you for presenting. Next on the agenda, we have a quick swapper discussion. Sky, do you want to maybe talk about this before we move on to the other things?
Yeah, it's just that overall with the launch of Swapper and the success it's had so far, there's interest from some communities out there that see Swapper happening, and some of those communities have a focus on Arbitrum as well. And so there's discussions going on around projects that do want to have their token or farming campaigns on Arbitrum. At the same time, there's a bunch of other projects that see Swapper growing as well, and those communities might be on XDAI or potentially mainnet as well. And so any projects that you see coming into that Arbitrum ecosystem, or that are interesting, or you see them raise questions about expanding or partnering around farms, and just basically try to push those towards the DXbiz channel. And we're tracking those and having conversations with a bunch of those projects. And so I think that will lead into the additional epochs that DXDAO community will be deciding for swapper farming. And so we'll be tracking all of those opportunities, and then we'll have to decide which ones to prioritize and which ones to include in the next epochs as we move forward, I guess. And so just be aware of those and share those, and we'll put them in a priority list and figure out which ones to include.
Awesome. And I'm just loading it right now, the TVL of Swapper on Arbitrum. Last I checked, it was around 60 million, but I don't know, I guess the market dropped, so might have dropped with it. Anyone knows the TVL of Swapper right now?
Yeah, I think it's just over on Arbitrum, just over 60 million, like you said. And with that is Swapper and DXDAO are getting attention from different communities that haven't been paying attention. So which is great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, the airdrop is still on, so send it to like people. I haven't. People are like super excited to hear about another airdrop on Arbitrum, and also really incentivizes people to bridge things to Arbitrum. So that's also pretty cool. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I don't know. Anything else on Swapper? All right. So the next thing is probably ETH Online. That's kind of like the urgent one that's happening right now. Right, Sky?
Yeah. So ETH Online. So everyone that's a contributor to DXDAO, a regular contributor, should join the ETH Global, which is the ETH Online Discord, where you do that by filling out the Airtable that's been shared in Keybase a number of times. You change your profile name to your name bar DXDAO, so people are aware that you're part of the DXDAO contributors. And we've shared all the information around the prize. It's a general prize where people can build to improve or expand or anything novel around DXDAO's products, and we focused on Omen, Swapper, and DXVote as the 3 products that people should focus on. And so I have a feeling that as hackers start to explore over the next week or so all the different projects and all the different opportunities that they could hack on, they'll probably reach out in the DXDAO channel on ETH Global Discord. At the same time, we were talking about different ways to engage, to actively engage more of the hackers, to bring them into the DXDAO or make them aware of the DXDAO opportunities. One cool idea was for a few people, and I think Ross already did it, which is really cool, is share with other hackers a brief story on how you yourself have found DXDAO and why you're working with DXDAO. And so making it more personal for all these hackers, which the hackers are mainly students and some non-Web3 developers that may be working at other tech companies and things, and they're exploring, they see what's happening in the Ethereum space, and they're exploring, and these ETH Global Hackathons are the number one way that these people find Ethereum and find projects to work with. And so at the very least, we should be able to speak with a whole number of potential community developers or people that could be contributing to DXDAO. And so, sucking those people in, reaching out to them, helping them, and having kind of the presence of developers and other community members in those channels makes that ideal. The one thing we need to do, and John, I think, is hoping to do it, early this week, is create a video, like a 25-minute video that just, walks through the very big complex ecosystem of DXDAO and all the products. And if you're a developer, if you're interested in Omen, you should be going to this GitHub, and here's where the docs are on DX docs and things. And so just having a video that people could watch and learn about the different parts of DXDAO, and then how to, if they're interested in one of those parts, where they should be looking to find out more about the code or the product, or what issues there are, or potentially propose new ideas on how to expand the products. And so, yeah, we should. And the cool thing is this hackathon lasts a month. So it just started. I think it kicked off on Friday, the 17th. And this first week will be quite interesting. And then it will go for a month. And a lot of times, pretty impressive projects and ideas come out of this, because people have, weeks to build stuff, rather than just 3 days or 2 days during a weekend hackathon. So let's try to make this DXDAO participation in ETH Online successful. And whether some cool product comes out of it is one thing, but if we can get 10 developers that all of a sudden are aware that they can contribute to DXDAO and get paid for it, like that's also a really good outcome. So that's kind of the overview.
Yeah, and I would add that, you know, if you can go, like, just like Sky said, go on the Discord and try to answer questions, try to like, I don't know, be active DXDAO members, because this is really going to convert people. And yeah, like a lot of things that we can do. Some of the projects that are coming out of these hackathons, they're like raw, and then I don't know, bringing them into DXDAO and then like incubating them could be a very interesting like approach. So yeah. Anything else on that before we move to maybe East Lisbon and some of the things that are happening?
Yeah, I also just wanted to note that in the ETH Global Discord, there's a channel for like open jobs and positions, which we were able to post in over the weekend. I posted the front-end dev and Solidity engineer positions in there, and I've already had a few people reach out to me just in regards to those specific roles. So I think that's really awesome just for exposure. I'm not sure if any of these specific dev candidates will really pan out. They could be a little bit too junior for what we're looking for at DXDAO, but I think it's, you know, already a great start that I've had 3 or 4 people already reach out to me in less than like 48 hours.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, this is really great. It's really a unique opportunity, like these hackathons, to like bring people and onboard them. So yeah, I think so. Regarding East Lisbon, I think Dave just created the proposal in the forums to sponsor the DAOist, and then we have the DXDAO event in the future of prediction markets, and yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. I don't know, Melanie or Dave, if you have any other updates.
I'm not sure if Dave is in here, but Dave did just post a proposal on DAO Talk in regards to hosting the after party for the DAOist. And with that sponsorship, we'll be hosting the DAOist after party. I don't know if Nylon, you wanted to speak a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, my take on these things, these are kind of the lessons from ECC, is that for every event and for everything that we're sponsoring, we should have, I don't know, figure out like what we want to achieve, and you know, from those things that we want to achieve, how do we quantify them? I don't know, maybe we want to get like general DXDAO exposure, and then how do we quantify that? How do we quantify this as like a part of this entire week? Like, we're spending a bunch of money on this entire Lisbon blockchain week, and the question is, like, what are we trying to get from it, and how will we get to those things? So I don't know, one of these things would be like, I don't know, developers that are joining, or, you know, interesting collaborations that are coming out of this entire week. And then for each one of the events, specifically for that, if we're sponsoring the party, then, you know, what do we want to talk about, and how do we want to let's say quantify that afterwards? So yeah, these are kind of like my thoughts. And I think actually, like, the week before the retreat, we can actually like work maybe more hands-on on these things and come up with like different initiatives that we can do beyond just what we're paying for. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else has any more comments. Yeah, okay.
Anything about greater than, or
about what? Sorry.
Greater than?
Yeah, absolutely. So I sent out a kind of health check to all of the contributors at DXDAO. We're starting to prepare for our workshop with Greater Than in Lisbon, and it would be awesome if you guys could fill that out. It's a brief survey on kind of just your general thoughts and feelings about the way we work at DXDAO. And I sent out a survey this morning. It'd be great if you guys could fill that out over the next few days and have it back to me by Friday so we can start preparing for the workshop and identifying key areas that we want to work on and kind of focus on for that workshop. And then another thing I wanted to just mention and kind of discuss again is that we're super excited for the hackathon, ETH Lisbon. About 6 or 7 of our DXDAO contributors got accepted into the hackathon, so they will be hacking that Friday, the 22nd to the 24th. But on the 22nd, we are also having a DXDAO event. It's the Future of Prediction Markets. It'll be hosted at the block. So for those who aren't going to be participating in the hackathon, there are lots of other great things for you guys to do over those few days. And one of them, of course, is our event at the block where we'll be discussing the future of prediction markets. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot planned for this Lisbon Blockchain Week. Even like before with the DX retreat and, during and a bit after, it seems like our Ave is dragging this entire week a bit longer than I think we all expected. So that's that. I think maybe the last thing we have on the agenda is that kind of the HATS proposal has passed. HATS grant proposal has passed. And so that's kind of like a good thing. This is sort of like a part of DX Ventures. And my already biased kind of thing says this is like a very big win for DXDAO. So that's that. And I think in the next week or so, I think this is also tasked on John to finalize the collaboration with HATS and for DXDAO to actually use the HATS contract and sort of protect the DXDAO smart contracts with the HATS protocol and allow anyone from DXDAO to participate in the protection essentially of the DXDAO contract. So that's that. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to add. Yeah, I think we're almost on time. If there are any other, inputs, thoughts, ideas. If not, we can wrap it up. Okay. So I guess we can wrap up the call. I guess thank you all for joining. Sky, I don't know if you want to close the recording.